What's up, Jaguars? My name is Aliya Creecy, and today we're going to be starting our first episode of the check-in. So, our first episode is called Corona Confessions, and we're going to introduce that a bit later. I'm just going to let you know who I am. Like I said before, my name is Aliya Creecy. I work with the Office of Student Media as a multimedia editor. And the purpose of the check in is so that people can come and feel involved, feel like they have a voice, and feel like they can reach out and really be honest about the things that are the issues that they have, or, just the good things, the bad things, anything. This is the platform where I want people to feel free. We want people to feel free to express themselves. So today's topic is Corona Confessions. Personally, I will say that this coronavirus has definitely been a challenge. It's been something that has definitely changed my life. And I know that it's changed many of your lives as well. During this whole pandemic, I've lost someone close to me that I really, really love dearly. Um, I've been sick myself. I had the virus myself, pretty much my whole family. So I understand. If no one else understands, I understand. So I want to know your opinions. I want to know what you think. I want to engage in conversation where we can really just discuss, what are we going to do about this? How is it affecting you? What's going on? So if anyone has any comments, any questions, if anyone would like to come forth and talk about this with me, just talk about how it has changed your life. You can come on and introduce yourself, talk about everything that has went on academically and personally. I want this to be very open. Um, I can start off by answering the questions myself, just so that others will feel free um, to really speak about how they feel. Um, so my first question for everybody is, how has the coronavirus affected you from an educational standpoint? So, like I said before, I did lose someone that was very close to me. Actually, my grandfather and many other family members who have gotten this virus, they've been lucky enough to make it through, but he did not, unfortunately. So that happened on April 6th. That took a toll on me as a student, because where would I have found the time to mourn and the time to grieve if it had not been for professors who are understanding? And not everyone has that. Not everyone has understanding professors. Some of them were a bit more understanding than others. But overall, I'm grateful for that. But it's affected me educationally, um, because when you're not in the right mindset to really focus on your work, it kind of messes with you a bit. And that's something that, if you're going to be in college, I'm a junior in college. When you're in college, your mind has to be in it. If your mind is not in it, then you're not getting anywhere, really. You can try your best. You might be able to find a good group, good study groups, and people like that to help you along the way. But right now, while we're in something like this, it's really hard to stay in tune with your educational life. So that's how it's affected me. I'm sure that it's affected many of you all, maybe even worse than me. There's always someone who might be going through it worse than you are. So it's important to try to stay grateful no matter what. The second question is, how do you concentrate daily while not in a conducive environment to learning? So daily, I will take some time to set aside and to express myself, just to get everything out. It's the first thing I will do. I will write. I will make sure that my mind is clear. I'll listen to some music. I will isolate myself somewhere within the house. Right now, there aren't many people in my house, but it can still be pretty distracting. A lot of people call our phone, different things like that. So you have to find the perfect niche that's for you. For me, it's isolating myself, even though I'm in a house. My house it's a pretty big size house. So I don't really have a designated study area. So I had to create one. First step for me was creating my study area. Step two was deleting the distractions. Um, it's so easy to pick up my phone. My phone is right here. It's so easy to pick up my phone and just be on my phone all day, watching YouTube videos and all kind of stuff, not paying attention. So when it's time for me to do my work, I let people know, hey, I'm about to do my work right now. It's time for me to do this, so I'm gonna have to talk to you later. Put your phone to the side, put the distractions to the side. That's the only thing that I can do in order for me to stay concentrated on my schoolwork. I'm pretty sure some of you just heard the door open and close, which is what I was saying about my house. It's a pretty big house. A lot of people know this house. My grandparents have a lot of grandchildren, so there's always someone in and out. So it's important for you to put yourself in an environment where you can be isolated, where you can be free of distractions. The last question is, do you believe that the current expectations are fair during the pandemic? So personally, I would say that what has been expected of me personally as a student, because yes, I work for Office of Student Media. I'm involved in a lot of things on campus, but I'm a student first. So personally, for me as a student, I would say that the expectations have been kind of in the middle. Some professors, they have given me my work and just said, here are the due dates, turn it in. Some other professors, they say, okay, we're going to have things like Zoom, class discussions and things like that. We're going to have things like that where you all can kind of come in and still being in somewhat of a learning environment. So it's kind of been tough to balance that out, but I'm really interested to know what you guys think. If you guys have any answers to any of these questions, some feedback that you'd like to give, some advice to any other students, I think that would be great. If you guys have any comments, make sure you share. You can actually come and be featured on this broadcast with me. I would love to hear your voice and see your faces. So right now, I'll just give a quick pause to give anyone who would like to speak up a chance to come forth. And while we're waiting for those who would like to come forth to come and speak, I will also add on that it's important for you to communicate with your professors. It's important for you to let them know what's going on in your life, because a lot of them don't really know. They don't know. Some people are more fortunate than others. Some people look at life a different way. So you have to communicate with them. You can't expect them to just know what's going on with you and to just be super lenient. To some of them, they might see, okay, these students, they just at home, they're chilling, they're watching movies all day or whatever. But you don't know what I'm going through, you know? You're not sure. You don't really know. So don't leave room for anyone to make an assumption about you. You should go and let your professors know. Another thing that I will say is, along with making sure that you're in an environment in your own household where you can study, make sure you let the other people who live with you know that, hey, I'm a student, I'm at home, but I need my time to myself. I need my time to get things done. And don't be afraid to ask for help sometimes. You never know what your mother might know, what your grandmother might know, what your brothers and sisters might know. Let the family know that you need me time, but don't be afraid to ask them questions either. If you have any project, you need to interview someone, use the people around you, use your resources, but also let them know when it's me time, it's me time. Make sure you let them know. some comments. Does anybody have any comments? I want to hear what you all have to say. I want to hear your opinion on these things. Academically, I want to know how it's affected you. I want to know, if you believe that you have overcome personal struggles, if you believe that, or if you feel that there's something else the university can do. I know that we have the pass or fail option, which will be added towards the end. And I know that there's also the option to keep the grades that you have. Um, if you feel like your grades are at a good point and that you are happy with them, you can go ahead and keep those, which will be added into your GPA and everything. So, yeah, just make sure that you are checking in. Make sure that you're checking in with your professors and letting them know what's going on with you. Um, and make sure that you understand all of the options that you have. If you're not sure, reach out to someone even higher than that. Make sure you understand your options because this is your life. You're the student. This is what you're going through. And you have to make sure you're straight because if you don't, nobody else will. You got to make sure. Okay, I have a comment. I won't say who you are. Oh, well, we said who you are. Thank you. Academically, it's been harder for a lot of students since most have never experienced having online classes that they are used to face-to-face classes. I definitely agree with you. Having classes online has been pretty tough, especially for classes, math classes. I imagine would be very hard. I'm done with all my math classes, but I imagine that taking a math class would be pretty hard without being able to sit there and really see exactly how the problems are being done. Another thing that's been kind of a challenge for me is French. French class has not been the best for me, I'll be honest. It's been pretty tough trying to learn a new language without being able to talk to people face to face, to really hear in person the accent, the adverbs and adjectives, all kind of stuff that goes into it. Um, Even like I think psychology classes might be hard. Nursing classes, oh my gosh, the nursing students, I feel for y'all. This is something, nursing is something that I'm not a nursing student. I don't know too much. Don't shoot me down if I'm wrong, but I know that is something that you need to be hands on. This is someone else's life that you're talking about. You need to be with your professors face to face, talking to them, making sure that you understand the material, because that's someone's life. You're learning how to take care of someone. So I imagine that it would be really, really tough. Yeah, I know that that's tough. And then not everyone even has the material. Not everyone has the technology to be doing all this stuff at home. Um, I would hope that everyone in college would have a phone. I hope. But some people are more fortunate than others. And it doesn't always work out that way. I know for me, I did not have a laptop for a while. I didn't have one for quite a long time. And speaking of my laptop, I just got a notification that it's going to die soon. But I'm going to go grab my charger really quickly in a minute. But I know that for me personally, I went a while without having any kind of laptop or anything like that. So that was pretty tough for me personally. Can you please reach me the charger? It's plugged into the wall. Everyone, please give my lovely mother a round of applause. um, so Southern Yearbook, they left a comment for us. Um, and it says, "What advice do you have for students who are having mental health issues as a result of this COVID-19 pandemic? What are some of the best practices?" I'm very glad. That's a really, really good question. That's a very good question. Students we're people, we have a lot of things that take a toll on us. Things like this, thank you. A lot of people are scared to really be themselves and express themselves sometimes at there. Advice that I would give to students who are dealing with mental health issues, I would suggest that you contact your doctor, contact your therapist, and ask them if they have Zoom or virtual appointments available. You need to make sure that you're getting what you need at this time. As a student, this is a crucial time where your focus is important. It's important for you to be on task. It's important for you to create a daily schedule for yourself to follow, because you don't have that person in your face twice a week or 3 times a week telling you, hey, this assignment is due tomorrow. Make sure you turn it in. This assignment is due next week. You have to go online for yourself and see your assignments. Um, so it's important to make sure that you're straight and that you're in line. Um, and then I would suggest find things that are relaxing to you. Find things that are relaxing to you. I cannot stress that enough. If you stay in the house worrying 24/7, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. You have to find something that makes you feel at peace, something that helps you to relax, because that can make things worse. And then also being at home, some people's home environment is not always the best environment. Um, you know, I personally know people who are like, I really don't want to go home. And that made me sad because it's like, oh, I mean, sure, home is kind of like, whatever is home. I can't be with my friends, but to feel like home is not home, like in my opinion, home is a place that makes you feel safe. It's a place that makes you feel warm and loved by the people you live with, um, and everything. So I just think, you have to make sure that you're doing what you can to reach out to your doctor, seek help, seek help. Don't let yourself be down like that. Don't let yourself fall in the hole. Don't let yourself follow bad patterns. But up next, we're going to have our editor in chief, James Eagland, and he's going to come on and talk to you guys. So, hi, James. How you doing? Uh-oh, can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. How are you doing?
Trying to stay safe, social distancing and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's all. That's really all we could do right now.
Yeah.
Um,
How's it been on your end?
I've had better days. Like I've said before, I did lose someone who was close to me. I don't really like the word lost because I don't feel that that person is lost. I know that, in my opinion, I'm a religious person, I'm a Christian. So I believe that this person who was close to me, I believe that he lived a life worthy enough of making it to heaven. So I'm at peace with knowing that that's where his soul and his spirit is. Um, but for me, it's been kind of rough after that, still trying to stay on track and just be a student, a regular student. This is not regular for any of us. So it's tough, but I'm still smiling. I got a smile on my face. I'm still communicating with my professors, letting them know what's going on with me, making sure I do my best to stay on top of my assignments. So that's how it's been. Has it been any struggles for you? Anything that's um, been an obstacle that you had to overcome with this?
Yeah. Just like you, I've had to deal with a loved one who's transition. Two of them actually.
Oh, wow.
So kind of that mental, it's kind of a mental strain, I would guess, because like even for a funeral, you're not able to physically be there.
Yeah.
I've seen live streams of a lot of stuff, but live streams of a funeral is something I never want to experience, again.
Right.
So, and I would also say kind of figuring out what you're gonna do. Like this is my senior year. I had one semester left in terms of figuring out what I'm doing for grad school. There's this potential offer that was waiting on me. Had things stay smooth. Had something change because of the pandemic, stuff like that. So it's almost like a mass like reset. But I mean, I'm not one to stick to negatives with anything. I always look at the glass half full. So I view this as an opportunity that, most of us have been too consumed in what we were doing in the first place. So I think this period, kind of allows us to slow down and really reconsider what's important to us, whether that be family, whether that be passions, whether that be, relationships, things of that nature. We need to really reconsider what things matter to us, and then
Right.
make sure we reprioritize if necessary. As soon as some of these restrictions get lifted and move on, because everyone is dealing with the same issues, so everyone can somewhat have the same excuses. But as these restrictions get lifted, and as we start getting back to some sense of normality, we can only hold these excuses for so long. So I'm using this to kind of reprogram myself mentally, and
Hmm.
hopefully, even though I've experienced some loss, emotionally, I can come out a better person because of it.
Right, right, right. And everything you just said, it reminded me of this quote that my grandfather used to say. He always used to say, "Life is a series of adjustments," and I think that this has been one of the biggest adjustments
For
that
sure.
we've ever had to really make as a university, as the world. This is such a huge thing that has affected so many people, and um, as a senior, I can only imagine how that would be really tough. A lot of things to look forward to and everything, but yeah, okay, we have a question. It says, "What are your thoughts about the country, especially Louisiana reopening? Do you think it's the right move or is it something that is happening too soon?" James, what do you think about that question?
Um, I thought we would have did better. I mean, I know like states like Texas, I've heard they're like doing some experimentation with it. It's kind of I wouldn't know if it's the right move. I mean, I guess it's kind of like you won't know until it actually happens.
Mhm.
Um, but there needs to be. It shouldn't be like a mass opening of things. It should be like a slow rollout of some small events. So if you say some, I think I heard a plan where it's like some parks may be open, some non-essential travel might be open in one phase, and in another phase it might start opening restaurants and bars to a certain extent. So if there's like a plan in place to where it's a gradual reopening of businesses and things of that nature, and large gatherings, I'm all for it.
Mhm. I agree with you. Um, I agree with you, but I would say that I do think it's a bit too soon. Just because there are still people just now discovering still that they have this virus, So I would hate to say, okay, yeah, let's open back up this business or let's open back up our store. Um, and sometimes it takes a while for symptoms to show up and everything. So I don't know. In my opinion, I think right now the country should just play it a bit more safe than sorry. Um, but I think, okay, it could be done from a standpoint of most essential to non. not essential businesses, meaning that, of course, our doctor's offices are open and, things like that. Those are very essential. Our fire departments, things like that. Those are super duper essential. Um, but I would say like maybe I don't know, but see, is that's kind of a hard one because who am I to say what might be essential to you, you know, and who are you to say what might be essential to me? So this is kind of a tough one. But in my opinion, no matter what opens up first, I still think that we should take it slow. I don't think that that everyone should move too fast. Just because I am starting to hear less and less, but there's still a lot of cases coming up. So that's kind of one of those ones that I would just be like, yeah, we're kind of cooling down a little bit as far as what I've seen on my platforms, on my social media. I haven't turned the news on in 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. Honestly, I'm just being honest with you. I don't even want to see that right now. Like,
Well,
but
my thing with the news is it's like you have to be mindful of what news you consider, especially because we're living in this social media age where there's, anybody can consider themselves a news outlet.
yeah,
Especially, if you look at people exchanging like advice on how to deal with the virus and you need to buy this and do that, and then there's another post like 5 minutes later saying everything they said was wrong. So it's like you have to, and then it also when he talks about like the statistics when it comes to like reported cases and deaths, those can vary based on what their perception of what a reported case means, or if they wasn't given the access. A lot of people might have the virus, but wasn't given the access or wasn't able to actually get to the hospital to be considered a confirmed case. So a lot of the numbers can be misleading depending on how you view them. So I always say, especially with dealing with COVID 19, you need to be careful of what news you consider. And I would also say like all the news isn't bad. There's a growing number of people who have recovered, even though there is such a high number of reported cases. A lot of people are recovering
right,
well.
right. A lot of people are recovering. My mother recovered. I recovered. So yeah. Our next question is: do you feel that the university took swift action to ensure the safety of the students? Um, I I think they did. I think they did. Um, I think that they might have waited just a bit too long to say, okay, send everybody home. I think they maybe could have done that a bit faster. Um, but I think they did. They did the right thing by asking the students to leave campus. Those who could not leave, of course, are still there. But you know, being in classroom settings, you could have 30 something students in one classroom, and all those people, one person has it, then everybody has it. So I think they did the right thing. But only thing is, I think they could have moved just a bit faster with it. Um,
I mean, I agree. Um, we're in a unique situation because we're an independent system. So I mean, we use that moniker, a lot, talking about we're the only HBCU system. We're the only HBCU system. But in times like these, we also have to think as a system. We can't necessarily think as one school. So with that being said, you also have to all decisions need to be made with all campuses in mind. So I mean, whatever time it took, I mean, I would say it was in within time as most of the other decisions were made. So I don't have any particular issue with it, considering we're not just dealing for ourselves; we're dealing with 5 campuses.
right, right. It's Yeah, that's a lot to take in. I didn't really think about all of that before, honestly. But that is we're a whole system in ourselves, so gotta move and make sure that everything is still in line, and you know, make sure everybody's connected and everything. So I agree with you. I agree with you. Um, is there any advice? Is there any advice that you think first time students could use right now? Someone pointed out that first time students they might be having trouble with their summer and fall semester classes. So they just want to know what advice will we give for like scheduling classes. Um, the advice that I would give is to make sure you contact the university, um, find out who your advisors are um, as fast as you can. I would wait. I would contact academic affairs um, if you are a first time freshman or first time student. They'll probably contact academic affairs, see what information they have for you, and just make sure that you stay on it. Um, don't sit there. Don't sit there or stand there. I made that into one word on accident, but don't stand there or sit there and just wait for them to contact you. Um, they will contact you, but if you want your answers, you want to know so that you can plan for your future. And I imagine that, being a freshman, you want to make sure that you're straight. You want to make sure that you don't have anything to worry about when things get back together or whatever. Well, the question says as the pandemic continues. So I don't know. I would just make sure that I keep in touch with the university. Make sure you stay on it. Make sure that you really stay on it and make sure that they are giving you what you need. Yeah, that's the advice that I would give is to just stay on top of it. Don't fall underneath and then be wondering later on, oh, well, nobody told me, or I didn't think this and that. No, you need to know. And you need to take, this is the time where you're coming out of high school or you're coming from somewhere else. This is your time to say, hey, I'm an adult now. I got to make sure that I'm staying on top of things. And I got to make sure that no matter what, I'm doing what I got to do. So I would just stay on top of the university at the time like this because things are changing every day. So I would just try my best to stay on top of it. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I would also make sure that y'all following the office's first and second year experience. They are active on Twitter and Instagram. And
Yes.
they definitely, they love to meet, new people on the fly and get them involved with, other connecting them with other freshmen, and even connecting them with, a mentor, someone who's been, obviously haven't been through something like this before, but in terms of finding someone around their age range, who's been to Southern, who can connect with them during this time, it can definitely help.
Yes, yes, I agree. Are there any more questions that we can answer as we kind of move? What time is it? We kind of move towards a close for today's stream, but I want to know if there are any more questions first, anything that we can answer, any advice that we can give um, to anyone. And thank you so much, James, for coming on and talking with me
No
about this.
problem.
Yes, your advice was very helpful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay. Well, it doesn't look like we have any more questions, but the last thing that I would like to say is just to make sure you stay on top of things. Make sure you find a place in your household that you can focus, that you can study. If you're in your dorm room, make sure that you're staying away from distractions. Set a few hours out each day to read over your material. Make sure that you are putting your phone to the side, turn off your social media for a while. Just focus on you. If you are a person who may have any mental issues or mental challenges, I would say to make sure that you stay on top of that as well. Contact your doctors. There's still a way that you can receive the prescriptions that you need, that you can receive the advice and the guidance that you need at this time. There's always a way. Never give up. Life is a series of adjustments. That's the quote that I would like everyone to remember. Um, James, do you have anything that you would like to say? Any last minute words or advice that you want to give?
Um, yeah, I think you wrapped it up pretty great. Obviously, the generic. Make sure keep 6 feet away, wash your hands, stay safe, but still, do something proactive. Don't take this time to just sit around and rest all day. You still have the same 24 hours, just like everyone else.
Yeah.
A lot of good memories can come out of this time, and I hope you all can create some just like I have.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, James, for joining me again.
No
Thank you all
problem.
for joining this live stream and watching with us. I really hope that you enjoyed it. And our live streams will be posted on social media. Tune in for our next episode. We'll be posting it. Just look for it. It'll be there. You'll see it. Um, and that will conclude our episode for this week, Corona Confessions. Next week, we'll have another topic that everyone can engage in. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Aliya Creecy, and you're watching The Check-In.